Welcome to Getting Home Sourced with G. Your one-stop shop for all things real estate. Gianno is your go-to guy with over 25 years of experience in the game, serving up the insider scoop on buying, selling, and investing in two of the hottest markets, Las Vegas, Nevada, and Cabo, Mexico. Whether you're looking to score the perfect home, seal the deal on a sale, or dive into the world of international investments, G's got the tips, tricks, and swagger to make it happen. Remember, in Nevada, the smart choice is the right choice. And when it comes to Cabo, you better go oceanside with Cabo G. If you were looking for a quiet, tranquil show about real estate, this ain't it. Gianno has this thing called passion. Let's unleash the beast. This is Welcome to Getting Home Sourced. And now your host, Gianno.
Hey everyone, it's Enrique here. Happy Mexican Independence Day, and I hope you enjoy my friend Cabo G with this week's episode.
Welcome, mi amigas and amigos in Las Vegas for our Mexican Independence Day show here. I can't believe it, folks. We're already in September. My God, where has the year gone? 2025 is like a bullet train. Before you know it, we're going to be in the middle of 2026 the way we're going. It's like a speed warp over here. But folks, of course, I want to say it by always. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Wherever you are listening around the world. This is Gianno getting home source with you guys. And of course, for my newbies, thank you so much for listening in. If this is your first time or second time, what have you, thank you so much. And of course, for my repeat offenders, you know I love you. As I always say every week, you are the Ferrari that drives the show. And the story, that's it. It's you guys. Yours what make it happen for me. And I love you, so my heart goes out to you. Thank you so much for that. But today, folks, we're here in Las Vegas. We're going to be covering, we have to give a shout out for our Mexican friends that are traveling here to Las Vegas this week for Mexican Independence Day. So I want to say, hello and welcome and enjoy. You're going to have a great time as you always do. And of course, I want to start out a little bit by just giving a background of really, because what Mexican Independence Day is all about, right? So basically, the analogy and the history of what it all comes about is when the priest Miguel Hidalgo y Castilla called on the Mexicans to rise up against colonial government of Spain back on September 16, 1810. So, however, Spain rejected this, and they still tried to fight in there, hanging in where they thought that their effective release and relinquishing of the country of Mexico was on August 24th, 1821. But since now Mexico, they look at it as, September 16th, 1810. So that's what we go by. So now you're looking at 215 years and growing. And it's great to see that they've come to Las Vegas to party and celebrate. Because again, folks, remember, most people don't even remember or realize that Las Vegas or the state of Nevada was actually a Mexican-American. It's American territory now, but Mexican territory up until 1848, and then when we had the Mexican-American Civil War, that's when everything got relinquished out, and then that became part of the United States, which is now Las Vegas, Nevada. So with that being said, a lot of Mexicans here for the last, I'd say at least good 10 years have come up here, and again, Las Vegas, as I've seen through the 35 years that I've been here, has become entrenched with Latin culture and tradition. And as like Americans who travel to Los Cabos where the locals speak English, Mexicans feel more comfortable because they come to Las Vegas as a Spanish language is really now the second language. And because we have a lot more Latinos or a lot more Spanish speaking people, especially here in the U.S., specifically Las Vegas, they feel comfortable coming up here because to them it's like just visiting another territory of Mexico, right? So, but a lot of Mexicans do buy property here in Las Vegas, folks, and that's the key right now because I'm very fortunate enough to help families that live and buy here in Vegas, as well as Mexicans looking to buy in Las Vegas. And they live in the mainland or they can live in the peninsula, right? So, but the Mexicans, believe it or not, in speaking with them, most of my clients that live in mainland Mexico feel as though it's actually cheaper to buy in Las Vegas than most major cities in Mexico, which I thought was kind of interesting and shocked at. But housing both in Los Cabos and in Las Vegas are different in many ways, but to me, they're the same in others, right? So, like I've spoken on past shows about how Las Vegas has taken a bad rap because of the affordability issues with the housing issues, tourism slump due to tariffs, right? But this time every year, I always see the joy of people coming in and celebrating the Mexican culture. And they make this as their playground for like 5 days, even a week. And to them, Mexicans feel as though Las Vegas, especially with those living on the West Coast, they feel really, really strongly about coming into the U.S. and celebrating because remember, part of the West Coast was Mexican territory. And I'm just so happy that they come to Las Vegas because I really think it's special that where we can roll out the red carpet, celebrate their country's heritage, their culture, and they basically choose to buy, live, or invest in Las Vegas. They love it here. They love the city, and they're doing their homework. And that's what I think is important that, with the show, and as I always give the data and the homework, again, I'm going to give Vegas numbers as to how I tie it in, is the fact that with Las Vegas, as of this show taping, we have 10,500 active listings with 2,800 active under contract, right? So again, there's 10,500 active listings, and you already have right now 2,800 active that are under contract. And in the last 6 months, you have 15,000 home sales, which equals about exactly 2,500 homes sold a month. Now, of course, that number in Vegas should be between 3,800 to 4,000. But again, the key factor here, folks, is that regardless of the tourist slump or what have you, you still have a lot of people that come from all over the country. They come to Las Vegas. Las Vegas is very vibrant with entertainment, with gambling, with shows and food and shopping and outdoor activities. And it becomes a very viable place to live if you want to raise a family. I mean, I know a lot of people wouldn't want to raise a family in Vegas because of all the gambling or let's say the hotels and that kind of stuff. But listen, every city's going to have their own, stuff that's going on. But the important thing to figure out is that with Las Vegas, again, for tax savings, one of the few states that you can get tax breaks, you have strong corporate protection for asset protection. So nobody's going to come in there and start taking property away from you. It's very, very strong. When you put together trust, we talked about that before. We talked about trust for our Cabo show, but we also talked about trust way back, talking about how you should get a trust set up in the U.S. And if we like, again, folks, reach out to me, email me, again, Gianno at VegasHomeSource.com. And for my internationals, you can always contact me, 888-528-2810. And for my domestic friends, just put a 702 in there instead. And I can also get more involved with you on a one-on-one if you like about how to protect yourself when buying properties in Las Vegas in a trust. Or you can also have an out-of-state trust, and a lot of people do that as well. But on that note, I want to take a quick commercial break because when I get right back, we got more goodies to talk about.
Are you living outside the United States, figuring out how to make extra money in a tight economy? Are you looking to work out of your house or on your computer with zero money out of your pocket? Then say no more, as Cabo G's International Rewards Program is perfect for you. All you have to do is visit VegasHomeSource.com and click on our rewards button. The touch of a button, you now have the opportunity to turn your referrals from friends and family into cash. For more information, call us at 888-528-2810 or drop us an email. Come learn to earn with Cabo G.
Hey, what do you say? What do you say? Thank you for sticking around for the back half of Getting Home Source with G, as I'm your host, Gianno. And on the back half, I want to talk about Vegas and Cabo because going down there back and forth to Cabo and then living here in Vegas, I just see two growing cities that I really think, in my opinion, and also factual with data, of course, that I give with housing, that just like Los Cabos, Vegas has new housing projects, right? So you have resales and you have new builds, right? So in Cabo, you have new build homes. You have a lot more new build and condo and high rise. But for Vegas, we have more new build for townhome and single family. And we also have the apartment sector that's coming in now into play. So that's like a mid-rise as well. But again, Vegas, the projects, we have sporting, like I talked about before, the amenities and the growth, right? So, but for my domestic friends that are either thinking about coming over here, whether you live in the East Coast or West Coast or Midwest, and again, Vegas, we have availability here. There's not so much, again, wherever you're living at, it becomes an affordability issue because you have to figure out what your wants and needs are. And we talked about that before because Vegas always reinvents themselves, right? So the city always reinvents in different sectors of the market here to generate revenue, to make things the way it is. And look, we're getting a baseball team here in 3 more years. So now you have between football and hockey and baseball and women's basketball, and eventually we'll probably have NBA men's basketball here too, right? But we're getting more, WrestleMania for sporting events and for entertainment, college football for Final Four, and then eventually you have the Frozen Four for college hockey here. So you're seeing Vegas kind of turn the corner and getting out of that small town feel and small town image and now becoming a major player in metropolitan city, which has, to me, grown for the last 5 years, right? But I think it's important to understand that for those that love the action and you love the gambling, you love the entertainment, and you love it for all that good stuff, and that's kind of gets you because a lot of people come here, folks, just to be a professional gambler, and they make their money and their livelihood just on gambling. Anything that's a sporting event or non-sporting event, they're gambling on it, they're making money, right? But the housing market here, I have to be honest, I'm not going to lie to you guys, I never do, that it's a bit slow, okay? Obviously, we've taken it in the alley a little bit, got roughed up. Obviously, people have fallen out of escrows. That's why you also see a lot of homes for sale because of the fact that, again, buyers can't qualify or buyers need seller concessions, sellers not giving the concession, and then therefore we get into that issue where now everything gets stuck, nothing happens and falls out. Same thing with new homes. New homes, buyers want to play ball, but the home builders don't, and then therefore what do you think happens? The contract gets canceled, right? But I still believe that my prediction is that the rates will come down eventually next year. People think that the sky's going to fall at the interest rates. Oh, it's going to be 5% or 5.5%, and prices are going to come down with it. I'm like, I don't think so. Right now, Vegas is still in that, what I like to call, quote unquote, negotiating market stage. And I find that a lot of internationals are taking advantage of this because while locals are sitting on the sidelines waiting, you're having foreigners come into the mix now, and they're buying cash. And again, cash is king because as mortgage rates are going to fluctuate. Look, a year ago we were at 7.5, 7, maybe in some instances 8, depending upon if you had like lesser than a 620 credit score. And now you're seeing people waiting, thinking that, hey, look, I'm going to take advantage of the situation and jump in. It's going to get down. No, it's actually going to probably go up. And the thing what usually happens here, folks, is that when the rates go down, properties go up. And when properties go down, rates go up. And now we're trying to catch it on both ends where you have both the rates and pricing going down and try to take advantage of that. I hope that happens. But right now, the big players that are out there for cash buyers in the U.S. are your hedge funds, your small-time investors, your flippers, your iBuyers. They're the ones that get first shot, folks. They're the ones that are buying. So again, I always try to tell people when you're going to go into the market as a buyer, seriously, get with your lender. And if you don't have a lender, contact me. I don't care where you are. I can always get you a lender if you're not here in Vegas, or if you don't want to buy in Vegas, you want to buy somewhere else. I have my network for you. We'll get you squared away over there. it's really important to figure out, first and foremost, what do you want your mortgage payment to be? And then tie in all your monthly expenses behind it. Because why? You got to take into consideration that if you're getting a loan and you have a mortgage payment, there's going to be principal and interest. Then on top of that, you have to figure out property taxes. Then you have to do home insurance. And if the property has an HOA, then you have to plug that in if applicable, right? So now you have all these things to get a set number or an approximation to know what you can afford. And then when you know what your monthly payment's going to be and the lender gets that information set for you, now you know what your purchase price margin is going to be. So now let's say if the lender says, hey, you can go to $550,000. Okay, so maybe we go up to 560, 570, maybe even 575. Get some credits to help buy down your rate, get closing costs, or just as a negotiation tactic, see how low they'll go to hit your number and see what kind of affordability it would be with that $25,000 swing, using that as an advantage, right? But folks, look, at the end of the day, mortgage rates will eventually go under 6. I personally think they're going to land, I've been saying this before, no lower than 5.25. I think that's the target. I don't think it's going to go any lower than that. Obviously, now with the fiscal year end, you're seeing a lot of home builders getting aggressive. And as I tell people, folks, if you're looking for a new home, especially in Vegas or even in the country, just contact me, because usually everybody's fiscal year end, if there's a fiscal year end in September here in Vegas, chances are that builders got their fiscal year end all across the country. And it's starting right now. And they will roll out as we get deeper into the months, September, October, November, December. Each builder has their closeout where they have standing inventory or they have fallouts and they want to get it off the books, and they will cut deals with you. So again, for my new home purchasers, if you're interested, please get a hold of me. Or if you're just wanting to find out what the situation is, send me an email, contact me, and I'll give you the home builder list of who's doing what, where, and when, right? So I think that's important. But for right now, the rates fluctuating anywhere between 6.35% to 6.75%. You got that 0.5% swing going back and forth. That's where we're at right now. Again, I know there's a lot coming up. Again, we're talking about the Fed rate cut, and people seem to get still confused. Fed rate cut and the mortgage rates. So we'll talk about that, hint, hint, on next week's show, to give you some feedback on how the markets responded to the Fed rate cut. But this show is specifically about, buying, how internationals come into Las Vegas, how we're celebrating Mexican Independence. And again, happy Independence Day for my Mexican friends, right? But it's important to understand too, with Las Vegas, with the U.S. in general, other markets are stronger than Vegas, not going to lie, right? But then there's other markets that are weaker than Vegas, right? So at the end of the day, it's where do you want to be, right? I focus in Las Vegas, I focus in Arizona, and of course I focus in Cabo. But I think it's important, again, to realize and understand going into 2026, okay, for tax purposes, unless you have 1031 money and you want to get rid of it so you don't get a tax hit on the 1031, roll that money in, buy it, park it in real estate, everything will come around, right? Everything, it's like cyclical. If you think you're buying high now, wait down the road, then what you think is high today is cheap tomorrow, right? So that's the only thing that my grandparents used to always tell me. What's cheap today or what's cheap tomorrow is expensive today, right? So the attitude is get in, don't listen to the noise, do your homework, okay? Get with your lenders, speak about what you're looking for, talk about it. I mean, talk to your realtor, get a list going, start doing the process now. Because again, folks, unless you're doing cash by the end of the year, okay, if you have a tax benefit, a lot of people will start getting into properties and putting contracts in around November, December, and then wait for a January close, because then if they have a tax event that takes place, then they don't have to worry about property taxes or income tax or regular tax until 2026 or actually 2027, right? So, but if you're buying in 25, talk to your financial advisor, talk to your planner, make sure that you get those write-offs for 2026. So, but in wrapping up, I just want to say, hey, thank you so much for listening to the show. I'm also passionate. And again, you got to be passionate about buying and selling, just like I'm passionate about this show. I give you the facts. I give you the data. I want you to be engaged. I want you to be excited about what you're doing, because purchasing whether it's in Cabo, whether it's in Vegas, very emotional, or wherever you're buying. Same thing with selling. It's sentimental. You're letting go of something that you've had for a while. It means something to you, and you're moving on, right? So it's a passion in people to be motivated, because it's the only way buyers and sellers are ever going to get something done is because it's either a need or a want. So that is the passion in people. What's the most important to you? Is it a need that outweighs the want, or the want that outweighs the need? And again, I need to give this show, I want to do this show, and I have to do both because that is my passion. My passion has wants and needs. There's a reason why I need to do it, and there's a reason why I want to do it, right? And we've expressed that many, many times. But at the end of the day, that's my passion for you, because I'm always at your service. That's the excitement factor, and that's why I love doing what I'm doing. So on that note, take care. God bless. Have a great week. Talk to you soon. Take care.
See you later, folks. We are off to Las Vegas.
You have just listened to Getting Home Sourced with your radio host, Gianno Buonaguro. This podcast is a registered trademark and may not be reproduced without the express written consent of VegasHomeSource.com. For additional information about buying, selling, or investing in real estate, call or text Gianno toll-free at 888-528-2810 or visit his website at VegasHomeSource.com. Thank you for listening, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.